Straight ahead on Falcon Weekly.
Russian invasion. Find out what the Ukrainian government will do now that Russia has advanced into their territory.
Also, the Blade Runner in court. The Oscar Pistorius murder trial is underway in South Africa. Hear testimony from the courtroom.
And the Oscar goes to, we take a look back at the highlights from last night's Academy Awards. See how this year's Oscars influenced social media. Falcon Weekly starts now.
Hello, and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Irene Cardenas.
And I'm Chloe Allen. Thanks so much for joining us.
Topping world news, tension between Russia and Ukraine continues to rise. Russia has reportedly given Ukrainian forces in Crimea a deadline of 3 a.m. Tuesday to surrender or face military action. The ultimatum comes after Russian troops seized key strategic sites in the peninsula. The Kyiv government has mobilized troops and called up reservists. But Ukraine's military is no match for Russia. The U.S. estimates there are 6,000 Russian troops in the region. Today, 12 troops full of Russian troops have entered the eastern Crimean. President Obama says international backlash against the Russian invasion is strong.
I think the strong condemnation that it's received from countries around the world indicates the degree to which Russia's on the wrong side of history on this.
Secretary of State John Kerry is set to visit Kyiv Tuesday to meet with members of Ukraine's new government about the crisis.
The murder trial involving a former Olympian is underway in South Africa. Track star Oscar Pistorius pled not guilty to murdering his girlfriend, who he says he shot to death last year, thinking that she was a burglar in his home. Reporter Robin Kernow shows us how the prosecution is hoping to prove that he killed her in cold blood.
With hundreds of reporters and cameras waiting and parts of the so-called trial of the century carried live on TV, a first for South Africa, Oscar Pistorius arrived for day one of his murder trial.
In the District of Pretoria, the accused did unlawfully and intentionally kill a person, to wit, Riva Steenkamp.
Do you understand the charges, Mr. Pistorius?
I do, my lady.
How do you plead?
Not guilty, my lady.
The amputee track star is accused of murdering his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, on Valentine's Day last year in his home. Pistorius says he mistook Steenkamp for a burglar, but prosecutors maintain he killed the young model in cold blood following an argument.
I respectfully state that no truthful evidence can ever be tendered that I fired the shots, and I quote, because of the argument, unquote. I deny this allegation in the strongest terms because there was no argument. The allegation that I wanted to shoot, in brackets, or kill, close brackets, Riva, cannot be further from the truth.
Pistorius' lawyers also revealed a key part of their case, alleging South African police botched the investigation.
It will also be demonstrated during this trial that whilst Botha was the investigating officer and tasked with preserving the scene, that the scene was contaminated, disturbed, and tampered with.
Members of Steenkamp's family were inside the courtroom, where they heard chilling testimony from the first witness. A neighbour who says on the night of Steenkamp's death, she was awakened by terrible screams coming from the Pistorius home.
She screamed terribly and she yelled for help. Then I also heard a man screaming for help, and 3 times he yelled for help.
Only the audio of the neighbour's testimony was broadcast, but how she described the shooting could prove key to the prosecution's case.
Just after her scream, my lady, I heard 4 shots. It was 4 gunshots that I heard. The time between the first and the 4th shot was much longer than between the second and the 3rd one. Bang. Bang, bang, bang.
That was Robin Kernow reporting. The trial is scheduled to last 3 weeks, but with prosecutors alone planning to call more than 100 witnesses, experts say the case could last much longer. Switching gears to campus news, UM is set to host the 5th annual Faculty Research Symposium this week.
Scheduled for Wednesday in Wills 200, this year's event will include a Fulbright Scholar presentation by art professor Karen Graffo. The symposium will begin at 11 a.m., opening with a welcome from UM President Jon Stewart. The event will include a number of presentations of recipients, sabbaticals, and university grants. It will end at 6 p.m. Faculty, staff, and students are encouraged to drop in throughout the afternoon. Students needing supplies from the UM bookstore will need to make their purchases before the end of the week. The campus bookstore will be closed this Friday. Store employees will be conducting inventory. The store will reopen Saturday. The University of Montevallo's men's basketball team will take on Francis Marion University in the quarterfinal round of the Peach Pelt Conference Tournament.
The men's tournament gets underway this Friday at Columbus State University. Montevallo enters the tournament ranked 21 nationally, and the Falcons are searching for their 5th conference tournament championship in school history. The game is set to start at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central. For more information about tickets, check your forum email.
From the red carpet to social media, we recap the biggest moments from the year's Academy Awards.
Plus, prices at the grocery store could soon be on the rise. Find out some tips and tricks to eat healthy without breaking the bank. Those stories and more when Falcon Weekly returns.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. Last night, the winners of the 86th Annual Academy Awards were announced on ABC.
That's right, and reporter Michaela Pereira has the scoop on the events that have Hollywood and the internet buzzing with excitement.
And the Oscar goes to...
It was a night full of inspirational speeches.
When you got God, you got a friend, and that friend is you.
The magnetic Matthew McConaughey winning Best Actor, and his co-star Jared Leto Best Supporting Actor for their transformational roles in Dallas Buyers Club.
To those of you out there who have ever felt injustice because of who you are or who you love, tonight I stand here in front of the world with you and for you. Thank you so much.
Newcomer Lupita Nyong'o named Best Supporting Actress for her powerful performance.
When I look down at this golden statue, may it remind me and every little child that no matter where you're from, your dreams are valid.
And a light-hearted Cate Blanchett took home Best Actress for her work in Blue Jasmine.
Sit down, you're too old to be standing.
Having fun with some of her fellow nominees.
Julia, #suck it. You know what I mean?
The evening's biggest honor awarded to the film based on a true story, 12 Years a Slave.
We all get to stand up here tonight because of one man who brought us all together to tell that story, and that is the indomitable Mr. Steve McQueen.
The honor making history. McQueen is the first black director to win Best Motion Picture.
I dedicate this award to all the people who have endured slavery.
It was also a night of wild star antics.
Give it all you got and don't hold it back.
A-listers shaking and shimmying to Pharrell's performance of Despicable Me 2's Happy. Host Ellen DeGeneres.
Brad, get in here. No, I'm doing it.
Snapping this celebrity selfie. Gaining millions of retweets and even crashing Twitter's servers.
Pizza's here.
The seasoned comedian even passing out pizza.
Hey, Kerry Washington is pregnant. She needs some.
The over 3-hour show was packed with all-star singers. Bette Midler's Wind Beneath My Wings. And Pink's rendition of Over the Rainbow. All receiving standing ovations, but it was the surprise appearance by legendary actor Sidney Poitier that truly lifted the crowd.
Please keep up the wonderful work.
This year's Oscar Awards were a huge hit in Hollywood.
Our movie expert, Mandy Steadman, is here to discuss what happened at the Oscars and some of the most memorable moments of the night. How's it going, Mandy?
Hey guys, I gotta say this year's Oscars are the most difficult to predict. I made about 14 predictions out of 14 of the categories. I only got 5 of them wrong, but these were really hard to predict the outcome on either of them. The award that got me most excited, though, was for the Best Original Song for Let It Go, performed by Idina Menzel.
Of course.
That was beautiful. But you gotta admit, one of the most memorable moments of the night was when John Travolta came up on that stage and announced Idina Menzel as Adele Dazeem, not Idina Menzel. So let's take a look at that right now.
There will always be a special place in my heart for the movie musical and for the songs that create their most memorable moments. Here to perform the Oscar-nominated, gorgeously empowering song, Let It Go, from the Oscar-winning animated movie Frozen, please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Menzel's performance wasn't perfect. She still performed her heart out, and she recovered well from Travolta butchering her name. What y'all think of her performance that night?
I think she did really well. You could tell that she was a little bit nervous while she was performing, but she made a great recovery, and I was thoroughly enjoyed.
I thought she looked beautiful up there in that dress. Oh, she recovered very nicely.
It's no question. She's singing her heart out, and she looked gorgeous in her dress. And not to mention, along with our host, Ellen DeGeneres, I mean, she honored the 75th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz with wearing the pink Glinda, huge Glinda dress.
It was beautiful.
I mean, it is hilarious seeing her in pink for once. What y'all think?
I think that I thought it was really funny, keeping light of it.
I don't think I've ever seen her in a dress, so I thought that was funny to see.
Not only that, not only the tribute, but Pink. That performance and her dress, it was absolutely gorgeous. Not dry on the house.
It was wonderful. And DeGeneres also added a sense of realism almost in a casual or like awkward way by ordering pizza on stage. I mean, they had the pizza guy come up on stage and they give out pizza to everyone in the audience, including the, awesome Jennifer Lawrence.
She was down for that pizza. Lord have mercy.
I feel like everyone was thankful. Everyone was getting ready and they didn't have time to eat, so I guess they were grateful for that pizza.
Oh, definitely.
I would have been.
Pizza's amazing. However, the icing on top of the cake was when she broke Twitter with her giant selfie of her and a bunch of celebrities, including Jennifer Lawrence. You got Meryl Streep, Bradley Cooper, and all of those celebrities up there. It was fantastic.
That was funny. Yeah, I thought it was.
Most epic selfie of the entire decade.
Definitely. It was a really good overnight overall.
Definitely. Well, thank you guys.
Well, thank you so much. Right. Speaking of selfies, it's hard nowadays to avoid seeing a selfie pop up on social media. But who's taking more selfies and how is it impacting us as a society? We've seen President Obama take them, the Pope, and Ellen's Sunday night Oscar selfie had more than 2 million retweets. This way to take a picture is pretty popular, and the project Selfie City has researchers giving the trend a hard look. Researchers studied and cataloged thousands of selfies shared online. The project found that women take significantly more selfies than men, but once women hit 40, the trend reverses. For people age 40 and over, it is men who snap more, and the median of selfie snappers turned out to be 23. So what do UM students think about selfies?
We sent our man on the street, reporter Matt Lord, around campus to find out. Take a look.
For Facebook, I mean, I guess it's the only place they can be. I feel like a lot of people go off how many likes they get to see how good they look in a sense, but I think it's kind of narcissistic.
I do take selfies, a lot of them, mostly out of pure boredom. And because I like my face.
I mean, I feel like they should all be selfies, so portrait of just your face. You shouldn't try to get other body parts included into them. It's a selfie of yourself. I feel like people can overdo them when they add filters and, if it's a selfie, so it's of yourself, so it should be natural.
I do not take selfies, but I have no issue with anybody putting selfies on Facebook, Twitter. It's your time, and most of the people that I follow and I'm friends with on Facebook, I think they're pretty anyway, so hey, it brightens my day. I may not get to run into you.
Still ahead, having a checking account is getting more costly for millions of bankers. See where you may need to bank and in order to avoid checking account fees.
Plus, watching your wallet and your waistline. Eating healthy isn't always cheap. but we've got some tips to keep your wallet fat and your body skinny. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly.
Sloan Gibby joins us to take a look at this week's Consumer Report. How's it going, Sloan?
I'm doing great, guys. I've got a few financial issues to discuss today. Free checking, as we know it, is disappearing at the country's largest banks, but credit unions are still honoring the accounts. According to a survey by Bankrate.com, about 72% of credit unions offer free checking accounts with no strings attached. Only 38% of big banks are doing the same. That's down from 65% just 4 years ago. Be sure to check with your bank's policies to see how you will be affected. Many recent security breaches at corporations and universities have given us all plenty of reasons to check our credit reports. AARP says only 1 in 5 people regularly check their credit scores. A report by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau shows that in the last 2.5 years, more than 31,000 complaints were filed with the agency. The top concerns reported included incorrect information on a credit report, frustration with how credit bureaus handle disputes, and trouble getting free credit reports, which of course is required by law. Experts say these problems indicate there's a lot of the shifted blame between credit bureaus and the creditors, ultimately affecting you and your credit. Problems on your report are not always easily fixed. That is why finding them early is so important. Winter weather and California's severe drought could drive up prices for some of the items on your grocery list. In the next few months, milk prices could rise as much as 50 cents a gallon. Beef is also about to get more expensive. The U.S. Agriculture Department says fresh cuts of beef could reach an all-time high of more than $5 a pound. Dry conditions in California could also affect fruit and vegetable prices by about 6%. And that's a look at this week's Consumer Report. Back to you.
Thanks, Sloan. And with grocery prices soaring, it can be difficult to eat healthy on a tight budget.
Falcon Weekly's Wilbert Scott tells us how you can still eat healthy and not spend a fortune in today's Health Minute. Scott?
March is National Nutrition Month, and as we speak of grocery prices on the rise, it may be a perfect time to rethink your eating and spending habits. Let's look a few pointers on the enjoying of meals without breaking the bank.
Eating right on a budget starts with a little planning. Before you head to the grocery store, plan your meals in advance.
So make a grocery shopping list and stick to that list when you're shopping.
Cooking extra portions to have for a future meal isn't a bad idea either. Doubling a recipe ingredient from time to time offers little for leftovers to freeze. And buying in bulk is often cheaper. Registered dietitians recommend filling half your plate with fruits and veggies. Also to purchase in-season produce for cheaper prices. Fill the other half of your plate with whole grains and lean meats. And there are even ways to cut down on how much you spend on meat.
One way to make your meat dollars go further is by adding beans to the mixture, and then you can stretch the meat and actually use less in the same dish.
Controlling portion size is another way to help your budget. Experts say if something is in front of us, we tend to eat it even when we're full. So try using smaller plates.
And finally, save going out to eat for special occasions. Dining out is almost always more expensive than cooking your own. And if you get tired of doing all of the work, make cooking a family effort. For today's Health Minute, I'm Wilbert Scott.
Thanks, Scott. Now let's take a look at weather from around the country.
The Texas traffic is making news with a backup of 34 miles long near Dallas caused by icy roads. Crews spent the morning checking on drivers and trying to sand the road.
Temperatures in North Texas are expected to remain below freezing until Tuesday morning, meaning that the icy roads will still cause traffic trouble for hours.
Our nation's capital is under a snow emergency with 4 to 8 inches of snow. All federal offices were closed today.
Before this blast of winter weather leaves this area, D.C. could see as much as 10 inches of snow. Now it's time for a check of our Montevallo forecast.
Falcon Weekly's Madison Embush joins us with a look at this week's weather.
Hi, Madison.
Hi, the cold weather is back again this week. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping that this is our last cold snap before spring is officially here.
Oh my goodness, please. Something's got to give.
Yes.
Something's got to give.
Well, let's take a closer look at this week's weather. Here we have a graphic from the National Weather Service of today in Alabama. It's colder today and the temperatures are in the 20s in North Alabama and the 40s in South Alabama. And it looks like today is the coldest we've seen this week. The high will be 43 and the low is 28. It's partly cloudy. Tomorrow the high is 50 with a low of 36 and a slight chance of rain. On Wednesday things will warm up to 63 and a low of 48, but it'll be sunny during the day. And on Thursday we have similar temperatures as today with a high of 50 and a low of 38 and a 70% chance of rain. On Friday, the high is 63 and the low is 42, and it's sunny. On Saturday, it looks like it's going to be warmer with a high of 70 and a low of 49. And on Sunday, the high is 60 and the low is 37 with some clouds. That's a look at this week's weather.
Coming up, one of the most popular players in the history of the NBA has his jersey retired. See who after the break.
Also, check out one of the most incredible putts you will ever see on a golf course and won a championship. Sports with Rio Smith is next.
Welcome back to Falcon Weekly. I'm Rio Smith with a look at this week's sports. The Washington Wizards defeated the Philadelphia 76ers on Friday, but the real story is the jersey retirement of one of the game's greatest players in the history of the 76ers franchise. Allen Iverson's number 3 was hung into the rafters in front of a sold-out crowd at the Wells Fargo Center Arena. Here we are talking about retirement, not a game, retirement. The 11-time All-Star guard known as AI played his first 10 years in Philadelphia before making stops in Denver, Detroit, and Memphis. He finished his soon-to-be Hall of Fame career back when it all started, in Philly. He last played in the NBA in 2010 and officially retired from professional basketball last October. Staying on the hardwood but in the collegiate ranks, while the Florida Gators may be ranked number 1 in the AP polls, it is no shock that Wichita State is commanding the headlines. The number 2 ranked Shockers are the first team since St. Joseph's to go into the postseason undefeated after beating Missouri State Saturday. Led by Cleanthony Early's 19 points, the Shockers roared into an 18-6 lead and led by double digits the rest of the way. Due to their conference, going 31-0 may not be enough to get them to a number 1 seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament, however. Experts believe that Wichita State must also win the Missouri Valley Conference tournament first in order to get one of those number 1 seeds. While our very own men's basketball team is headed to the Peach Belt tournament, other UM teams are making noise as well. For all your sporting news around the university, be sure to check out Falcon Fever every Thursday night. And you guys, I got one last story for you. What better way to end a title drought than offer this shot from LPBGA Paula Creamer? Take a look at how she ended the HSBC Women's Championship on Sunday. You're not going to believe this.
Pick up speed from here.
75-foot putt eagle gave her the 9th victory of her career, but just the first since the 2010 U.S. Women's Open. Almost a drought for almost 4 years, and at least for quite some time, she doesn't have to worry about when she's gonna win again after that incredible shot. I'm telling you, if that was me, I'm retiring right there. I'm just putting the putt now. I'm done.
Turn in your golf club right there.
I mean, it can't top that. I mean, it's one thing to hit a 75-foot shot. It's another thing to win a title off of it.
Exactly. That is really incredible. Well, thank you so much, Rio. That's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much again for joining us.
For more UM news, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.